WSRX, and you're watching Worldwide Sim Racing. We're here for the penultimate round of the WSR Formula World Championship. We're here at Monte Carlo for the Monaco Grand Prix, and I'm very excited to bring you this action here at WSR. It is the Formula World Championship. The championship is over. Flip-Flop Fish has won it, but there are still some regulation rounds left to go and some bragging rights to be settled. As we get set for action, just a few moments away from all the drivers readying up and getting ready. We have 18 drivers, almost a full grid here in Monaco. It's going to be crazy. Qualifying is going to be crazy. The race is going to be crazy. Let's get settled for action here in Monaco. The famous street track, one of the oldest, if not the oldest track on the calendar, except for Silverstone. The Monaco Grand Prix has had numerous fantastic and famous races here, and I'm sure that WSR could put another memorable on today. As we get set for action here, it is going to be sunny skies here at Monaco. No rainfall from the looks of things as we're getting ready. The weather is on custom, and it will be dry conditions. Not expecting any rainfall. We did look at the weather report. Things can change at a heartbeat. I have not looked at the latest weather report, but Monaco always seems to tease the rain, and whether or not we get the rain is another story. Do apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I forgot to hit spectate, so everybody was waiting on me. So we will forget that and move on. We're just getting set for action. 7, 6, and now 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And here we go for Monaco. We're going to have 18 minutes of non-stop action and qualifying to set the fastest lap around the dangerous streets of Monte Carlo, and then it will be a 50% race around the street track to see who will win the Monaco Grand Prix. They call it the Triple Crown of motorsports for a reason, and one of the Triple Crown races is the Monaco Grand Prix. Who will win that first leg of the Triple Crown? We'll have to wait and see. We don't have a Triple Crown here in WSR, but maybe in the future. And here we are in the lobby. We have 18 minutes right there, and it has begun, and there are 17 cars on the grid. Caruto, Flip-Flop Fish, Burn It Down, to Pastor, Chicken, Sea Freeze, Racer, Jonathan Cox, Dempsey, Deathwish, Tricky, LR, Ghost, Usimi, Flyin, Niklas, Segrist, Diego, Fix, and Baker. I got through all of that without a car coming out. We do have a car coming out. It is the Renault of Pastor, and I do believe he will be the first car out, and just about, yes. We will have a few other cars coming out behind him, and let's go for a lap of Monaco. The twisty turns of Monte Carlo can bring a lot of hurt very, very quickly as we're just waiting for him to exit out of the pit lane. And let's ride on board now with the Renault driver. Coming through Casino Square. In the tightest corner, what I believe used to be the tightest corner in F1. Now taken away by the castle section at Azerbaijan. Now coming to the tunnel section, where you hear the engine echo throughout the walls. Coming up to this chicane near at the end of Sector 3, coming up towards the swimming pool chicane, my favorite track, flinging it into the left-hander, and then a left-hander followed by a quick right-hander. It's almost flat in these cars nowadays. A little tap of the wall. He's on that soft compound tire. Tire wear not too much of a concern here in Monaco, so we should expect most drivers to be doing a soft to medium run, I would believe so, as the pastor is going to come across the line and begin his lap. I will get the track map up for you, ladies and gentlemen, and the telemetry. And a very wide out of there, very wide out of Casino Square. He is purple, of course, Sector 1 purple, but that will soon go away as other cars will pass through. Through the Lowe's hairpin, pretty much perfect through there, so very good on that point. A little wobbly out of the Lowe's hairpin, and now into the tunnel. Reaches almost 180 as he comes into the chicane. Looking good. There's a yellow flag in Sector 3. I think one of the Haas's has collected with a wall. He is still okay. And coming through the swimming pool, looking good. Misses the wall this time. Now through the final section of the lap, and oh, that's a hit on the wall. The end plate's gone. It might be okay for him to continue. Let's see what the lap time's going to be, and it's going to be a 1:10.7. And I think that time is going to go away. I'm riding aboard a Flip-Flop Fish. You're a world champion in WSR. He's coming through towards the swimming pool chicane. He's not the next driver to come across. It is going to be Seafreeze at 109.7. That's on the soft tire as well. LR Ghost goes 109.8. And here comes Flip-Flop Fish. 109.1 for Niklas. That's pole position at the moment. Coming around to the final turn. Let's see what Flip-Flop Fish can do. And it's going to be third fastest, 109.8. Third on the grid for him. Burn It Down is coming through. I'm going to ride on Flip-Flop Fish. Still hasn't come out of the pit lane just yet. Racer's about to come across the line, and he's going to go 7th on the grid. The Haas of McChicken, who just won the WSR 2 race yesterday, is coming around the final sector just about and is going to finish his first lap. Let's see what the time's going to be. It's looking good right now. And it's not too good, though. It's a 1:10.6. Burn It Down is an invalidated lap for him, so he will not be going anywhere at the moment. Fix comes out of the chicane, a little slow through there. Looks like the car had a hard time getting up to speed. Coming through the swimming pool, 54 through the second sector. Now coming to the end of the lap. It's not looking like a super fast lap for him right now as he comes around the final turn. And Burn It Down, that's a 5 grid penalty for hitting the back of, I'm assuming the back of Death Wish. Where's Death Wish right now? Death Wish is over there, so he has a 5-place penalty no matter where he is on track, so that is unfortunate for him. Lots of drivers still in the pits. You see me flying also still in the pits, surprisingly enough. And that's a hit of the wall from Dempsey. The front wing is still okay. He's on an outlap right now. Burn It Down is invalidated at the moment. Caruto is on an outlap right now in the Ferrari. And that's a purple Sector 1, even though, so I guess it is a current lap, so he is on a purple Sector 1 at the moment. It was saying outlap for a moment. It has switched now to a flying lap, so let's see how he does as he's coming around towards the tunnel section, through the tunnel section. Let's see what that straight line speed is on this Ferrari, and a 178. That's a usual. That's a lockup, though, into there. And, ooh, loses the car almost, and loses the car again, and I think a front wing end plate's come off. Yes, it has, and that is his lap done right now. There's 2 end plates gone off the Ferrari right now, and You just can't run it here in Monaco without downforce, and that's unfortunate. He was looking good on pace, but lost the car twice. Segrist has retired. He's had a crash. I don't know where that car is. I'm running on board right now, and it looks like it was just on the start-finish line. As I can get with Burn It Down, and there is the Alfa Romeo. It's just out of the exit of the pit lane. There's a bunch of yellow flags. Diego now has a 5-second penalty, hitting Segrist, who, let's not forget, crashed. So Diego has an issue. Now there's no front wing on that car, so it was actually Diego who was coming near him. He has a 5-grid place penalty for the crash with Segrist. Now Segrist retired. Seafreeze, I believe, yep, he's on low fuel. Used to be flying, still not out of the pits. He is finally going to come out of the pits, I believe. There he is, finally coming out with that silver arrow with just about 10 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in the session. LR Ghosts is also on low fuel, I believe, and will finally come into the pits. He's second on the grid at the moment. Again, this was your winner in the United States Grand Prix. He had a fantastic drive, LR Ghost, and looking for another one here at Monaco. Nicholas, though, is currently on pole. Dempsey's on an invalidated lap. Burn It Down is out again on a lap. Let's see what the Sector 1 time will be, as he does have a 5-grid place penalty looming over him, so he would like to get up as high as possible. Segrist is talking. We might see what happened there. Another yellow flag. That is a Toro Rosso, I believe. It might be... No, it's not Dempsey. Maybe it is. He does have front wing damage on the car. Do you see me flying? Well, it's right on board of him. He's on his outlap right now. Flip Flop Fish is on another lap, and he is purple in the second sector as we come on board of him. And now, let's hope he doesn't get bogged down by traffic as the Dempsey goes into the pit lane. It looks like he came out okay as he activates DRS. Is this going to be pole position? And no, it is going to be a 109.3 just off pole position. And woof, that was close as You See Me Flying, who loves Monaco, comes across the line, and he will set a lap. And Tapastor is retired from the session. He's had a crash, and that might be a issue. Hopefully all the cars avoid him okay, and he's just coming out of the exit now. And ooh, that was nearly an accident for You See Me Flying. That's a 19-0 out of the first sector. So it's not looking too bad, but I have to imagine he got a little bogged down as he comes out of the hairpin. He might have gone a little bogged down from that, and the McLaren gets out of the way of the Mercedes. You See Me Flying. You See Me Flying has had a very, very disappointing season if you think about it. He hopes to turn things around in the later stages as there's a Ferrari stricken right there, and surely that is now really messed up his lap. Carudo's had a crash out of, and oh, that's a hit into the wall, and that is it for this attempt for You See Me Flying. Carudo had a crash out of the tunnel section as I'll run on board of Nicholas. Oh, the car just disappeared right there as Nicholas is on another lap. Let's see what the Sector 2 time is going to be. He just hits the wall there. It's down 2/10 in the second sector. Whoa, this is being a big time right now. Is he going to get into the 108s here at Monaco? Nicholas is coming around the final turn. Pretty much perfect out of the exit. Let's see what this time's going to be. And it's a 108.6. And it's 4/10 faster than his previous time. And Nicholas is more on pole position than ever and extends his gap to Flip Flop Fish by a pretty big margin. You See Me Flying coming into the pits. Very unhappy, I would presume, with what happened at the end of the lap with the Ferrari basically sitting on the apex of the turn there. I believe it crashed. He must have crashed there, and oh, Diego has gone purple in the second sector, so he might be on a charge right now. Diego and Nicholas have been at it all season since they've been battling. It started in Australia primarily. Will he snatch pole position at the moment? He comes across the line, and it's a 108.3, and it's Diego on pole position. Dethrones Niklas by 0.3 of a second, and Diego and Niklas, the rivalry continues. It's Diego on pole, Niklas in second. There's a Williams coming out of the pit. Is that Burn It Down? No, it's actually coming into the pits. Racer and Fix are 11th and 12th respectively. The Racing Point's not in a great position right now. Racer is not on pace right now like we would expect him to normally be, but then again, Monaco really does bring a different side of the drivers out. What a lap by Diego. If you didn't think it could get any faster, Niklas has some work to do. He has to improve by 0.3 of a second. Flip-Flop Fish is now coming out of the pit lane, I believe, or maybe that's You See Me Flying, actually. In fact, yep, it is You See Me Flying. Oh, the Mercedes, there he is. The Mercedes finally showing up, coming out. You See Me Flying is on another outlap, and he'll be hoping that this time, no issues in front of him. He can get a lap in. There's 5 minutes and 30 seconds left to go and counting in the session. And there's the yellow flag in Sector 2. That looks to be a McLaren. He is sped up again. There's again another yellow flag. No, it's actually a Racing Point. I believe it might be Fix. Fix is having an issue. He's very, very slow right now as he cuts the track. I don't know what's happening with him, as I'm going to ride back on board if You See Me Flying, getting on his onboard camera. 5 minutes left to go in the session as he comes into turn 1. Could have cut a little bit more of turn number 1, but not too shabby. Coming up to Casino Square. Looking nice and hugging it close. Flicking it to the right. Looking good around the hump. And it's an 18.8. It's faster than the previous Sector 1 time he had on the other lap. And that must be because of the Renault of DePaster, who bogged him down a little bit. A little slower through the hairpin. Keeps it just out of the wall. Now coming up to the tunnel section. And let's see how much speed he's running on the Mercedes. It looks like he might be running a little less downforce than some of the other cars, as no, he does just reach 178. Looking good through the chicane. Deathwish gets out of the way. Looking for a good lap here, as the Sector 2 time is a 52.8. Not the fastest we've seen, but You See Me Flying looking on a charge. It's been a very clean lap as he comes around the final turn. Very solid through there now. Coming out of the exit of the final turn. Let's see what the time is going to be. It's a 1:11.2, and I don't think that was the time he was expecting to have. In fact, that might be a little disappointing for him. He's outside of the top 10. Flip-Flop Fish, he's going quite slowly. I think he's warming up the tires a little bit. Looks like he was using, might have been on a lap and has decided to invalidate at this point and is now charging up the car up again. LR Ghost is on an invalidated lap. Niklas still in the pits. He will be coming out soon to set another lap. That will be his final lap of the session. Burn It Down is currently 10th on the grid. If You See Me Flying, we'll jump into the top 10 unless drivers ahead of him pass him, as Burn It Down does have that 5 grid place penalty. As there's a Williams that passes him. Dempsey is coming out of the pit lane. Flip-Flop Fish, yes, I do believe, has now gone for another lap. Let's see what the Sector 1 time is. It is down on his Sector 1 time. Now, again, he's not into the 8s. LR Ghost is into the 108s. It's a 108.9 for him. He's in 3rd at the moment. Flip-Flop Fish needs to dip into the 108s. Hopefully, maybe get past LR Ghost. I don't think he has pace for Diego or Niklas at the moment. It's not looking like so, at least. Coming into Sector 2, coming up to the chicane. Let's see how he handles it here. And nicely negotiated, a little slow on the gears there, coming down. Now out of Sector 2, let's see. It's a purple Sector 2, though. It's a 10th down on his previous Sector 2, and it's purple there. Let's see what he can do. Coming around the final turn, nice and tight through there. And let's see, out of the exit of the final turn, looking good. Runs it on the curve there. DRS activated. Where will he go on the grid? He'll stay 4th, and it is very, very, very close. Hundredths of a second off of LR Ghost's third best time, and that might be it. That is it for Flip Flop Fish. You see me flying. He was on a lap. I think that something happened with the Williams there. Unless he is just warming up the car again. Cuts the track. There's an invalidation right there. So he might have been on a lap. Niklas is on a lap right now. Let's see as he's going through the gears now. Coming up to the end of Sector 1. Crucial for Niklas to get pole position here to win the race. It's imperative that you get pole position here around Monaco. So very hard to overtake. He is down in Sector 1, but there's 3 tenths to make up. So Sector 2 has to be subliminal. And if he wants to get on pole position, Diego is on a new lap of his own. Let's see what the Sector 1 time for him is going to be as he's coming around Casino Square and coming down towards the Lowe's hairpin, going over the bump actually, and he's plus on his lap. So Niklas currently going a little faster than Diego right now. There's a spin, and Dempsey gets in the way. He pulls in front of Niklas, and that is going to be a 5-place grid penalty for him, and that has killed any chance of pole position for Niklas. Dempsey spun, pulled in front of Niklas, and I think the stewards are going to have to look at that after the race because that is heartbreaking to watch for Niklas. And LR Ghosts is now going to begin his own next lap. Now, it would be even worse for Niklas to drop some positions, but Niklas must be gutted right now as he's slower in the first sector. Niklas into the pits. I gotta be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. Dempsey spun and then he pulled in front of Niklas. You gotta be more aware of surroundings. He surely must have been looking at his mini-map. And he's still, though, pulled in front of the Red Bull. The sister team killed the adult team right there, and that was not good at all. Diego currently on provisional pole. That's a hit of the wall there, and LR Ghost is done with his lap. Flip Flop Fish stays 4th at the moment. Used to be flying, has actually jumped to 9th. Burn It Down jumped to 7th, but he will jump down more after the back, and Dempsey is going to start at the back of the grid after a real blunder right there, and truly is going to have to be looked at from the stewards there, as that was an extremely dangerous situation there as Diego comes out. He is currently on an invalidated lap, so it's not going to matter too much for him. The only car that can, I believe, challenge at the moment is Jonathan Cox, but this is not looking like a good lap time at all. In fact, he's very low on his ERS, so Diego is on pole. He invalidated his quali lap. LR Ghost left the session. That's interesting. But Niklas has to be absolutely fuming with that situation. And that is drama, if I ever saw it here at Monaco. And I've seen drama before countless times. Diego does have a 5-place grid penalty for an early collision, so Niklas will have pole, but it's not the same kind of pole. It's not real pole position. Niklas will start first, but surely he will still be reporting Dempsey after the race there. That is ridiculous. And as we get ready, it's Diego down to 5 places. So it's Niklas, LR Ghost, Flip Flop Fish, Jonathan Cox, and Seafreeze in the top 5. And it looks like near nighttime, actually. I think So we might be running into nighttime later on into the race. The lights are on here in Monaco for this race, so looks like we'll be traveling into the nighttime for this Monaco Grand Prix, which is what I was hoping for because I've seen about 1,800 day races at Monaco. 20 seconds left until sessions start, and I do in fact believe that is what we are going to have. So it's Nicholas who will start first, but I have to believe there's a little bit of anger in him not being able to actually get pole position off of Diego after that pretty horrid mistake from Dempsey. I don't want to be too harsh on drivers, but that was a big blunder right there, as Nicholas will get away cautiously, and we will begin the formation lap. It is the sun setting around here. The lights are on. Let's go over your starting lineup here, as it's Nicholas on pole position, LR Ghost in the McLaren in second, Flip-Flop Fish in third. Jonathan Cox is fourth in the Haas. Seafreeze 22 in the Alfa Romeo in fifth. Diego drops down 5 positions after that grid place penalty in the early stages of qualifying. He'll start 6th. LSF1 Baker is behind him in the Ferrari. You See Me Flying is in 8th. After Burn It Down dropped a few positions, so You See Me Flying in a better position I think that he would have actually thought he might be in. McChicken will start 9th, and Tapasha rounds off the top 10 in the Renault. The rest of the grid is Fix, Burn It Down, Racer, Deathwish, Tricky, Caruto, Segrist, and Dempsey will start at the back after that severe collision penalty. But I'm expecting some penalty points after the race as well. The night lights are on, so we will go into nighttime. We have 39 laps around Monaco. It is a very quick lap around here. And let's get ready. Under the nighttime skies, the Monaco Grand Prix will just begin in a moment. Nicholas on pole, looking for his 3rd win in WSR. He won in Canada, he won in Australia. Now, can he win in the streets of Monte Carlo? LR Ghosts will have something to say about it. No, he's still in the pit lane, so there's no second starter. Flip-Flop Fish will now be challenging in the turn 1. He has a little bit of ground to make up, though, as the Alfa Romeo and then the Toro Rosso lines up in his spot, and let's get set for action, waiting for those 5 red lights. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and it's the penultimate round of WSR, and the lights are out, and away we go, and Nicholas gets a good start, unchallenged in the turn 1. Flip-Flop Fish has to contend with Jonathan Cox, who drops down the 3rd after initially possibly getting in the 2nd. The Alfa Romeo of Seafreeze has jumped up a position, so has Diego. Baker has also jumped a position. McChicken is the one who's had a bad start, but he's trying to go on the inside. You See Me Flying into lap number 1, and You See Me Flying hits the back of Caruto and drops a position to McChicken and into the hairpin. Everything seems to be well okay, and Jonathan Cox sitting in 3rd there. He looks to be okay. He's on the podium right now as it is, and it's Diego which jumped a position, and You See Me Flying goes back down to 8th where he started. DePaster is up a lot of positions. LR Ghost has started this race. No, he is going to be in the pit lane. He will not start this Monaco Grand Prix. A shame for him not able to join back into the lobby. But there is Nicholas leading away the Grand Prix. Already a very, very quick set of laps for him, and he is already gaining a gap on Flip-Flop Fish. And unfortunately, I do apologize, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not getting deltas on my board right now. And there we go, after lap number 2, the deltas start to show as Flip-Flop Fish 1.3 seconds behind Nicholas. Nicholas has clean air to do all he wants in this race. It's lap number 2 of 39. Riding on board of Jonathan Cox, he's following Flip-Flop Fish. Would love to get ahead of the Mercedes world champion, as getting into the Lowe's hairpin, there's a blue flag already. What is that being waved for? Not too sure. Seafreeze is in 4th. Diego following closely behind. Racer and Fix are battling right now. Fix is having a very tough time. Racer's had to brake a little bit harder than I think he'd like to on a few occasions here. Jonathan Cox still following the Mercedes, and really it's a battle of attrition now. It's a battle of patience here at Monaco. You can make passes, you just have to be careful about them. You don't want to be making anything on mistake, as Racer has made an overtake and Fix has dropped a few positions. He has, I don't know if he does have damage. There's an end plate gone. There's severe wing damage, actually. Dempsey might be able to get ahead of him now. Nicholas has gone fastest on track. It's a 1:12.6 at the moment, and Fix hits the wall. He will go into the pits. Dempsey has gone up to 13th on the grid after starting plumb last. You See Me Flying is down to 16th. He must have had an incident, and can I tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, You See Me Flying has the worst luck I've ever seen as he comes out of the final turn 16th on the grid. Nicholas, 2.1 seconds that gap now, and now he'll go up to 15th after Fix comes out of the pit lane on hard tires, so those might go till the end. That's going to be a tough one right there. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Those lap number 3. Again, tire wear not too much of a concern here. Nicholas leads the Grand Prix. Jonathan Cox has a 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings. He's keeping close to Flip-Flop Fish, but this is by no means a close battle at the moment. You got to be a lot closer if you want to think about making an overtake anywhere around this track, and that might have been a warning right there as he cut a pretty big chunk of the swimming pool out of the swimming pool chicane. And Diego is following Seafreeze right now. DRS has been activated, so we may see to start some battles if drivers can get a little closer to each other. Jonathan Cox is under pressure from Seafreeze, 22 in the Alfa Romeo. And coming up towards Casino Square. And, Jonathan Cox ran quite wide and just keeping it out of the wall. Jonathan Cox, though, struggling in the Haas behind Flip-Flop Fish. That dirty air might not be helping him. Seafreeze seems to be doing a little bit better. Jonathan Cox, quite wide through the hairpin. Getting close to Flip-Flop Fish, though. Flip-Flop Fish has lost bundles of time. Nicholas is just on a charge right now. It's 2.8 seconds the gap now. And it's looking commanding lead already for the Red Bull driver as he looks to win here at Monaco. This is the WSR Formula World Championship, and thank you so much for joining us here, ladies and gentlemen. And my name is WSRX. I'm your head commentator for this evening as we are watching on board of Nicholas 22. He leads the Monaco Grand Prix at the moment, starting on pole position after Diego dropped down a few positions from an early penalty, in the race. And Jonathan Cox is into the pits early in this race, and he's going to put on the medium compound tire. And now Seafreeze goes into second. Diego, though, is right on the back of him, and it's going to be a very close race, pretty much all race long, I would imagine. Diego at the rear diffuser. There's still that blue flag, so I think that's a glitch on the track right there. You See Me Flying now moves to 14th after a pit stop from Death Wish. That's going to be the medium tires for him, so early pit stops already. As Nicholas coming through the paces. He's now 3 seconds ahead of Flip-Flop Fish. And McChicken has gone ahead of... Oh, that's a spin! Baker's had a spin. He's in the Ferrari right there. He lets by his teammate. Dempsey now might be all over the back of the Ferrari there. He's lost a lot of momentum. Does he have front wing damage on that Ferrari? Well, Dempsey has his own front wing damage now. Racer gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Now, these two drivers might be pitting. I don't know if he does have... No, he doesn't. So he's on that soft tire, though. That's very struggling. Dempsey as well, though. To pass her into the pits, he has to change his front wing. He's putting on hard tires, so he wants to go a little bit longer into the race. Dempsey going on the inside of... that was very tough. And Flip-Flop Fish has moved down the 4th. He has front wing damage. He had an issue. Diego has gone ahead of him. I was watching on board of Dempsey, who was trying to make an overtake on Baker. He's now dropped back a little bit with that front wing issue. But Flip-Flop Fish has had a problem. He's got front wing damage on the left side of the car. And that's an end plate gone. The turning is going to be a lot less now. And Diego now gets to go on a charge for Seafreeze here. Or maybe it's morning conditions, because it's actually looking brighter out right now. So maybe they teased me. Maybe it's actually morning right now in Monaco, because it is getting brighter here. I was hoping we'd get nighttime, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. As coming out of the final turn, yes, it is getting brighter, so we will be going into the morning here, as Fix is just coming out of the pit lane, and Flip-Flop Fish into the pits. He replaces his front wing. He puts on the hard tires. He wants to go long into the race, burn it down up to 5th, McChicken in 4th. 3.5 seconds now the gap to the lead of the race. The lights are still on. I believe they'll be going away soon, though, as it is sunny skies out here in Monaco. We will not be having a night race, unfortunately. One of these days, a league has to do a night race around Monaco. They put in the game for a reason, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have some excitement as he comes out of the tunnel section. And Niklas is leading away well here, 3.3 seconds. Seafreeze has had a problem, and now Diego is over the back of him, switching to the inside. Seafreeze had a problem through the swimming pool, and he is still ahead of Diego, but for how much longer, I'm not too sure. Racer gets passed by Caruto, passes Racer. That's a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, though, so he might have cut to chicane a little bit to do that. Not too sure. As Diego still following closely to Seafreeze. Lap 8 of 39. It's a lot of laps here on these 50% races in Monaco, but it's Niklas who's 3.7 seconds ahead of Seafreeze. And looking close, look at that. Diego really trying to find an avenue to pass. Jonathan Cox is very close to Segrist, sitting in 11th, trying to get into the points. As coming out of the tunnel section into the chicane, and ooh, that's a lockup from Seafreeze. Another mistake through there. Diego, though, got compromised, has actually dropped back a little bit, so Seafreeze is having trouble on those medium tires. Still on the softs is Diego as he comes towards lap number 9 in this Grand Prix. Now it's 4 seconds the gap, and they're into the pits as Seafreeze. So Diego will take second in this race, and McChicken will move the third. Burn It Down will move the fourth, I presume. And there's into the pits. Out at the end of the pit lane, actually, Seafreeze just about. So he will be getting out early, and actually Burn It Down goes in the pits, reacts to Seafreeze. A few drivers have reacted. Dempsey is into the pits finally after front wing damage problems. So interesting strats here, ladies and gentlemen. Jonathan Cox is very close to the back of Baker. Now, I don't know, I don't want to be guessing here, folks, but there is a little bit of a cloud in the distance. Just a little dark cloud there. I think it's going to be bone dry, but we'll have to wait and see. Ooh, dives it on the inside of Baker, and look at this, side by side coming up to Lowe's, and that was exciting, ladies and gentlemen. You don't get to see an overtake there a lot. It didn't eventually happen, but Baker is struggling right now. Jonathan Cox on superior pace. Those soft tires must be wearing on him a little bit, as maybe he's trying to extend them to at least 10 laps, as Jonathan Cox is very close. Baker's going to leave the door open, locks up, cuts the chicane, and now that's a lot of time gained. And Jonathan Cox might have something to complain about there, as Baker gained a lot of time coming out of the chicane there, but he's locked up again and lost it very quickly. And he kind of took the chicane battle there, and now Niklas is coming out of the pit lane, and he put on the mediums. And Baker into the pits. Segrist passes him. Jonathan Cox moves to 7th. So it's Diego who will take the lead of the race. Has not yet made a pit stop. McChicken has started on the mediums. Has he? I think, right? Yep, started on the mediums. Caruto started on the mediums as well. Niklas is trying to get ahead of Caruto. He's on older mediums, so definitely looking to get past him quickly. And look at this, weaving left and right, trying to find an avenue. He's going to go on the inside of Caruto into the chicane, bumps him, and ooh, side by side, coming out of the chicane. I think Niklas has the move, just slots ahead of Caruto. And what a move right there by Niklas. A fantastic dive into the chicane, and he got ahead of him. Racer has a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. We're on lap 11 of 39. Oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a long race here in WSR. It is sunny skies. There's that cloud went away, so maybe I was just seeing things. Jonathan Cox sitting in 7th, a second behind Racer, who had that 3-second time penalty looming over him. We've had a few penalties already. Drivers probably cutting that chicane at the exit of the tunnel section. Lowe's hairpin, a struggle for Racer. Jonathan Cox had the slope to basically a crawl. Jonathan Cox is on a very, very fast time, and Racer just lets him by, I think. Yep. Jonathan Cox just breezes by him. Racer was not going to hold him up too much, and he kind of knew at that point maybe he was on too slow pace right there and just let by a faster driver. Now McChicken and Niklas might have a battle here. McChicken is kind of holding up there, and now actually McChicken, does he let Niklas out of the way? He does. McChicken doesn't even battle, and Niklas goes into the lead as Diego comes out of the pits, puts on mediums. He's going to come out. Is he going to come out ahead of the Alfa Romeo here? It's going to be close. Just misses the Alfa Romeo of Seafreeze. Seafreeze just gets ahead of Diego. That was very, very close, but crucially, Seafreeze takes 4th back. And to Pastor, it moves up to 9th on the grid. And Diego will try to chase him down. Caruto sits in 3rd on the grid, and that's a spin, and now there might be a collision there. Did somebody get damaged? I don't know. I'm trying to see the front wing there. It looks like it's okay. I can't tell that Williams. Does he have front wing damage? He's okay. I think Seafreeze is fine as well, but Caruto definitely has damage. And Jonathan Cox now will move up to 5th on the grid. Caruto obviously have to pit. And he's trying to get ahead of him, and oh, he's holding him up a little bit. Caruto finally lets him by, and Jonathan Cox moves up to 5th. And it's been a charge right now from the Haas driver on those medium tires. And Jonathan Cox is putting on a clinic right now here in Monte Carlo. Lap 13 of 39. Caruto into the pits. Segrist up to 6th, up to 7th is Burn It Down. Flip-flop Fish and UCB Flying are 14th and 15th respectively. And they're in a little bit of their own race now. Niklas, 4.1 seconds the gap in this race. And Diego trying to find an avenue to get ahead. Having trouble though. Seafreeze definitely holding his own. Jonathan Cox has a few bit of seconds to make up. I don't know if he can do that, though, as long as Diego is behind Seafreeze, and if in fact has some battles with him, that only helps Jonathan Cox by a lot. This is the closest battle in the race right now, and the Williams driver challenging. As look at this, McChicken into the pits. So Jonathan Cox will move up the 4th now on the grid. I believe he's made his pit stop already. If I can bring that up. No, yeah, he has. Jonathan Cox has had a fantastic strategy of things here as Diego is up the 3rd still, trying to chase down Seafreeze. So very close to the back of the Alfa Romeo, the rear diffuser, the front wing right there, and it's It's not get much closer than this. It's reminiscent of Senna and Mansell, though not as epic as it's not for the lead of the race. And I don't think anything's going to be challenging Niklas, as he's now 7 seconds ahead of Seafreeze. Seafreeze passes and out looks to be fixed in the racing point. Diego dropped back a little bit there. I don't think he wanted to have any battles with that driver in the mix of it. And now coming towards lap number 15. 3-second time penalty for You See Me Flying for multiple warnings. Flip-Flop Fish is getting close to Racer. Now Racer is struggling, I think, and is there front wing damage on there? It looks like there was a bump, but it looks like Flip-Flop Fish is okay. Now Racer surely might have to contend with Flip-Flop Fish. Coming up to the chicane, I don't think he'll challenge it. He's going to look, and oh, he hit the back there. That was almost a disaster, and he'll have to make up some time again now, as that could have been very, very disastrous for him. As Burn It Down now chasing Segrist, Alfa Romeo versus Williams in 5th and 6th, and 3rd and 2nd. So an interesting battle of sorts happening right there. As Diego, and that's a 3-second time penalty. He ran way too much of the curb there. That's going to hurt Diego by a lot. That's going to very much hurt him, as Flip-Flop Fish finally gets ahead of Racer. I don't think Racer is going to be able to have any pace to challenge again. Flip-Flop Fish with the superior front wing. But that is a 3-second time penalty, and that is going to very much hurt his race. Burn It Down has gone ahead of Segrist just about. Jonathan Cox now has a 3-second time penalty, though, for multiple warnings. DePaster now has a 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings. Penalties are being picked up like mad right now. It is completely clear skies, almost no clouds in the sky. And Diego is still chasing down Seafreeze. He has that penalty looming over him, but we'll have to wait and see. It seems every time there is a overtake, I miss it. So I'm trying not to miss this one. I feel like it's going to happen eventually. Seafreeze is definitely struggling, though the gap has dropped down 0.4 of a second, but that's not saying too much. Niklas might have just had a moment. Now it's 6.7 seconds. Diego getting close to Seafreeze. He has to brake a little earlier. Seafreeze is really struggling in the 2nd sector. Coming into the swimming pool. Let's see how he does here. Seafreeze goes on deep, but actually got a better exit out of there and gets a little further ahead of Diego than at previous laps. So that's not too bad whatsoever. Diego getting close to Seafreeze. Can he make a move in the turn 1? Seafreeze kind of just parks in, and oh, that's contact right there. Seafreeze had a moment there, and Diego has hit the back of him. Fix is retired from the session. That's a crash. And I don't know where it is, or did he retire in the pit lane? I'm not too sure. There's a yellow flag in Sector 3. There's no safety cars, or any signs of it at least. And, oh, Seafreeze is trying to find a way. I think he might have just retired in the pit lane. Their first retirement in Monaco here, actually, is the drivers have been pretty clean in the race. The qualifying was a little bit on edge there. McChicken's getting close, and I'm going to try to ride on board here. And, oh, there's contact there to Pastor. Might be looking back at a move. Is there front wing damage for McChicken? Virtual safety car for that. That little moment there has caused a virtual safety car. You lose a lot of time on a virtual safety car, actually. Fix has left the session. So, that's interesting. Seafreeze trying to slow up his pace as much as possible. Onto the straight now. Virtual safety car is still deployed. They have to slow up. We'll have to wait and see when we go green again. It should be soon. It wasn't a huge incident. Seafreeze and Diego trying to find time on when this is going to happen. Caruto gets a 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings. And here we go, green flags. And Diego continues at full speed, just about where he was with Seafreeze at the start of it. In the podium right now, and runs up again on that curb. Doesn't want to be doing that. Burn It Down, though, is a full 19 seconds behind, so he does have a bit of a buffer. Dempsey gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, and Diego coming into the chicane. Seafreeze again, same issues, but stays ahead, and this just goes to show just how hard it is to overtake. Diego, definitely the faster driver at the moment, but he's just not able to get ahead of Seafreeze. He's trying to find every place and nook and cranny to make an overtake. That's a lockup by Seafreeze. There was a moment in the turn one, and as we get here, DRS activated. Caruto has crashed. He's retired coming out of the pit lane. That's interesting. I don't know what happened. He has just stopped. That's interesting. I don't know what happened there. He came out of the pit lane and then retired, so he's out of the race, though. There's no yellow flag or any signs of it, at least. As that's another lockup from Seafreeze. McChicken gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. There's a yellow flag in sectors 1 and 2. Don't know what that's all about. Flip-Flop Fish has gone ahead of McChicken in the pits. Diego is still chasing down Seafreeze. I don't think this battle is going to end at all during the entire race. It's very close. Now Jonathan Cox is trying to get ahead of Segrist and move himself up into the top 5. Segrist is struggling big time, and Jonathan Cox again showing he has the superior pace here. And this is one of the better race performances we've seen coming out of the tunnel section. Segrist is really struggling. He's going to try to make an outside dive now. That's not really going to work. That's just not a place to make an overtake. Segrist keeps the position, but Jonathan Cox kind of has to be saying to himself, like, listen, buddy, you got to let me get out of the way. And, oh, so close. Just 2 tenths separating them. Jonathan Cox on the battle of his own right now, trying to get ahead of Segrist. And this battle is so close. But Segrist now surely will have to give up this position as he's going to try to hang it around the outside in the turn 1. There's contact between them and finally does get ahead of him, though. Segrist barged wheels of Jonathan Cox, but it was up to no avail, and Jonathan Cox moves himself in the 5th. Diego back into the chicane, still struggling. There's a Ferrari ahead of them. That blue flag should be waved, and there's a crash! McChicken's out of the race! Unless he's had a retirement on track, a disconnect possibly? What happened? And where it has this car retired, he's left the session. Nonetheless, that's another retirement. There's that Ferrari. Ghosting is on for blue flags. That was changed in a few updates ago. LSF1 Baker is the car. You can see the car ghosting, I do believe. Or is it actually ghosting? I'm not too sure here. This might cause problems. Oh, it's not ghosting. This car is not ghosting, and now this might be an issue here. Baker has to find a place to make to let this battle continue. And he still hasn't done it yet. And he finally moves over. Seafreeze still under pressure. Trying to find a place, just can't get ahead. Diego all over the back of Seafreeze this entire race as we go to lap 22 soon for these two drivers. And Diego with a monstrous battle for second all over the back. What a race. Used to be flying has gone to the pits, so is Baker. Excuse me. Diego in the switch. I do have hiccups. I do apologize, ladies and gentlemen. And, oh, so very close. I keep saying so very close, and it is just very true. but no place to make an overtake. Seafreeze is just parking it perfectly. He's not required to give him any serious space unless he realizes that they're going to have to eventually battle. That's what's great about Monaco for the driver ahead, is that you don't really have to give any big space. Unless you see momentum really swinging in the other car's way, you can just keep closing the door if you want to. The car's not ahead of you, and if he makes a dive bomb, it's really on his own fault. But Diego eventually might just say, forget it, and make that dive bomb. Caught up in the swimming pool there. See, now, Diego's definitely the faster driver right now. There's no doubt about that, looking around the outside. But Seafreeze is just doing perfect defending and doing exactly what you would do around Monaco. Flip-Flop Fish is getting close to Seagrass. Seagrass has had struggles all race long, and now Flip-Flop Fish is trying to get ahead of him. You see me flying down to 13th. Death Wish Tricky has a 3-second time penalty, and here's an overtake now, I believe, as Flip-Flop Fish trying to go around the outside, and what a move into the chicane, gets ahead of Seagrist, and Flip-Flop Fish with an amazing dive around the outside. Flip-Flop Fish up to 7th on the grid. Diego chasing down, he must have dropped back a little bit actually from Seafreeze, but again, Seafreeze gets close again, and every time it looks like Seafreeze has an advantage, it quickly gets swept away and put into the ashes. And it is Diego in 3rd, Seafreeze in 2nd, and we haven't had to pay too much attention to the lead because it's 8.3 seconds, and Niklas is just having a fantastic race. This has really been our mainstay of focus here. It's Seafreeze versus Diego. And what a battle it has been. Up and down every single lap. And the car control between the two drivers is fantastic. Diego really trying to find a place. He looks on the inside there, and that's not an overtaking position. And he again has to follow him into Lowe's hairpin. Ooh, there was a little bit of a clip there on the curb, and that slowed him down a little bit. Now, again, all the while this happens, Burn It Down will gain time. Jonathan Cox is in 5th. He wants to gain time. Burn It Down, 22 seconds, though, behind. Just seemingly does not have a lot of pace. It's on those medium tires, so he might not be able to catch up to Diego, even with this battle going on. Because you have to say, the longer Diego is behind him, the slower he will get, and the more those medium tires will wear out. Niklas is going to have an easy race. I mean, 8.8 seconds. You have to really bottle it in order to lose. I do apologize, ladies and gentlemen. My controller just died. Oh, my goodness. I was trying to charge my phone, ladies and gentlemen. That did not work. Oh, boy. Well, I have a lot less mobility now, and my stream has gone 10 times more uncomfortable as I have to hold my controller a certain way. But nevertheless, let's continue the ride on board with Diego, who is sitting in 3rd. I was hoping my controller would last the whole way through the race, but apparently not. Lap 25 of 39. These races are quite long around Monaco. And Diego trying to find an avenue to make this overtake, and it just doesn't happen. Now he hits the back of Seafreeze. That is just how slow Seafreeze is crawling this car around Monte Carlo, and really held up in the swimming pool. Seafreeze is struggling right now, and Diego's got to be fuming a little bit. He's got to be saying, how can I not get ahead of this guy? He's so slow right now. There's got to be an avenue. Again, another tap at the back. Seafreeze really slowing down. Used to be fine. Another 3-second time penalty. I still think the front wing's okay on that Williams. Yes, it is fine. But a few more taps of the front wing, and it might not be. We're here at Monaco. I'm going to continue to ride on board with Diego here as, he looks on the inside. Seafreeze opened the door, but he didn't take the bait. I gotta say, oh, that's contact at the back there. That is more contact than before. Now, is the front wing still okay? I think it was just a minor tap, so he might have gotten away with it. Yes, he has. But all the meanwhile, I'd like to mention Racer, who is behind this couple. He's definitely been lapped already, but because of this battle, he's still in eyesight of Diego. Burn it down, 24 seconds behind. And Diego is looking and looking and looking. He hits the wall there a little bit. Racer gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings there. And more contact at the back. Seafreeze is just having a tough time on this track. But it doesn't matter again because he's still able to keep it ahead of the Williams of Diego, who has tried every trick in the book to get ahead, and it has not worked. And another contact at the back. This really is Senna and Mansell, ladies and gentlemen. And it is just as epic as it's always been. We're going to continue to ride on board of Diego here as the gap to the lead is 8.6 seconds from Nicklaus and Seafreeze. Thank you for joining us. My name's WSR or Noah Clark. You're watching Worldwide Sim Racing. This is the Monaco Grand Prix. Nicklaus is in the lead of the Grand Prix by 8.3 seconds. Seafreeze in second and a charging Nicklaus in third. Sorry, and charging Diego in third, trying to find an avenue to get ahead of Seafreeze, but he has not been able to find any kind of room whatsoever, and this is very, very difficult. Man, oh man. It's lap 28 of 39 as we come to the final stages of the race soon. And Diego chasing down Seafreeze 22 in the Alfa Romeo. A very, very close battle for second position. Diego, though, still unable to find an avenue as they come into the chicane again. He looks on the inside. Seafreeze again stays ahead. Just able to park the car in all the perfect locations, and an overtake seemingly impossible for him. Dempsey, by the way, getting closer to Pastor at the back here for 12th. But that's not the big battle here. The big battle is here for second. Trying to look around the outside, trying to find every avenue possible. He has to get a good exit out of that final turn. He's not able to get close enough to Seafreeze. 10-second penalty for corner cutting. You see me flying. I think he must have blown. Now that's a DNF from Tapastor. He's retired from the session. There's a yellow flag, sector 2. It's not showing up on my full map. I don't think we'll have a safety car. There's not a lot of cars around that area, but you see me flying. I think he just blew the chicane there. And I'm not too sure about that. We might have to look at that after. We might get inquired about that. But a 10-second penalty is pretty harsh, so I have to imagine that's what happened. Now, Diego's dropped back quite a lot. That's 1.5 seconds, that gap. So has something happened to the Williams here while we were looking at that? I'm trying to see the front end of the car. Did he hit the back of Seafreeze? There's front wing damage. There is significant front wing damage on the Williams there. Tapastor's left the session. Diego is struggling right now, and any chance of second place has gone down the windpipe. Now Racer's trying to unlap himself ahead, and Diego's got to make a pit stop at the end of this lap. No, he continues. He continues on with this race. Racer should be able to get ahead of him. I don't think Diego should be battling with him. He's clearly the faster driver, but no, he doesn't let him by. And, oh, there's contact there. Diego really pit the brakes, and now Racer's got front wing damage. And I got to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, that is frustration if I ever saw it. Finally, Racer makes the overtake, but Diego really messed it up in turn number 1, and now Racer's got front wing damage. Oh, man. And now there's a Ferrari, and it looks like that's Baker trying to get ahead of Diego. Now Baker has to contend with Diego. Diego didn't really make it easy for the Racing Point of Racer. Let's see if he makes it a little bit easier for Diego. Surely he'll make a pit stop at the end of this lap. There's no point running out with this kind of pace. And he's really holding up Caruto. Caruto's trying to find an overtake spot. Diego's just not letting it happen. He's currently 3rd on the grid at the moment. And that's a big lockup on the mediums. Will Diego pit? No, but Racer does. And Racer had to make that pit stop due to the damage. Now trying to move to the outside lane. And Diego finally lets him by. It wasn't really any point making that battle. But I gotta be honest, ladies and gentlemen, the driving from Diego is a little questionable here. First off, I don't think he should be racing at all right now with that wing. He should make a pit stop. Death Wish Tricky's left this session. That's interesting. But he's left on track, so he did not retire. Though that might have to be looked at the stewards after the race. But Diego has had some questionable incidents here. And it's lap 31 of 39. But a few drivers have really almost bottled their races because of Diego. Seafreeze, Dempsey's had a crash. That's it for him. Will we get a safety car? I don't think so. The cars are pretty much all away from him. The yellow flag was in sector 3. No safety car. Did he retire in the pit lane? I think he might have. Yep, he has retired in the pit lane. That is what happened. So we've had a few retirements so far. Only 11 runners left. LR Ghost doesn't really count. And now Racer has gone ahead of Death Wish Tricky at the bottom of the racetrack here. And, is there damage on Death Wish Tricky's car? I think there is. There might be end plate damage on that McLaren. And, yep, both end plates are gone. So that's a significant amount of downforce gone on the McLaren. Jonathan Cox in the pits. Burn it down. Moves up to 4th. Diego still in 3rd. I don't think he wants to give up that 3rd position, because he will surely give it up to burn it down, and then he might drop behind Jonathan Cox. Maybe at least Flip-Flop Fish, who passes him in the pit lane. Flip-Flop Fish back into the top 5. It's been a pretty hard race for him, and the recovery drive has been pretty good from him. Nick Loss in 1st, 13.3 seconds. He's led every single lap of the Monaco Grand Prix. Sorry, well, just about, actually. He did come out behind a few drivers, but regained the lead quite quickly. Actually, no, I think he did lead every lap. I'm a little foggy watching Diego and Seafreeze for so long. But Nick Loss, nevertheless, has had a fantastic race. An absolute masterclass, and as long as he keeps it together, keeps it nice and steady, he should have no problem completing this race. Now, am I seeing front wing damage on that car? There is. There's an end plate gone on that Red Bull. So he had contact at the wall somewhere, but he's keeping it okay. He is on that medium compound tire. It's looking okay for him. Riding on board of the Red Bull as he comes to the end of lap number 33. Just a few more laps to go in the penultimate round of the WSR Formula World Championship. And Nicholas is having an absolute fantastic race. .0 seconds. So he's actually gaining time still on Seafreeze. So at least Seafreeze doesn't have to contend with anybody in the back of him, though he does have a... What is that? Looks to be an Alfa Romeo. His teammate is just behind him. Though he's a lapped car, so he won't having to contend with him too much. At least I wouldn't think so. through the tunnel. Gaps are pretty big right now, not too many serious incidents, and it's a little bit too late for a safety car at this point, so I do believe we pretty much are racing to the end, but no, that's a crash for Racer. Or has he gone into the pits and retired? I think he has. I think that's another pit lane retirement. That's a yellow flag, Sector 3. Yep, that's another pit lane retirement, so now we have just 10 finishers. Plus Ghost, who's going to be last on the grid, so he had that disconnect, and that is it for him. Niklas in first, though. About to be 15 seconds the gap. Absolute masterclass from him. The Red Bull driver has had a stunning race, and he looks to be set to win here as we get to the final few laps in this Grand Prix. You See Me Flying will be happy with 9th, I think. He does finally score a point in a race after a while, but that's a banging of the wheel, which he does not want to do. Banging of the wall. He's behind Baker by about 11 seconds. I don't know who that is. That's Diego, who's still struggling, and he finally unlaps himself, actually, down. Diego is really losing time. It's 12 seconds now, that gap. Diego really struggling with that front wing damage, but I still think he'll remain okay. Burn It Down, now 10 seconds, that gap. I don't know about this, ladies and gentlemen. He might lose third. Remember, it's a 3-second gap hanging over him. I don't think Burn It Down has anything of penalties. At least not that I saw. We'll have to wait and see as we move on to lap 36 of 39. There's the other Williams driver, Burn It Down, who had that 5-place grid penalty, now sitting in 4th on the grid. 9.6 seconds. I think Burn It Down might get him at the end here. Not on the track, but maybe in penalties, because he is really struggling. Diego now 21 seconds behind Seafreeze, and the delta, the time gap, is decreasing by the lap and by the turn, quite frankly. And almost has it into the wall at Casino Square. Really struggling with that broken front wing. He's decided not to make the pit stop. Whether or not that's the right move is waited to be seen. There is also end plate damage on the other side of the wing, which might be causing this extra slow pace around here. He basically has no turn in whatsoever. And he goes into the tunnel section, staying in third at the moment. He's actually gained time to Burn It Down again, so Burn It Down has to pick up the pace here if he does want to gain an advantage, as it is clearly sunny skies here in Monaco. Niklas, though, leads the Grand Prix as we enter the lap number 3 to final. .1 seconds, that gap now from Burn It Down. Jonathan Cox has a 3-second time penalty. Segrist, though, is a full 36 seconds behind, so I don't think you have to worry about that too much. Niklas looking good through the swimming pool. He's coming behind a McLaren. That's definitely tricky. You should let him by pretty soon. But see, this is the problem. So this is he did not retire. He quit on track, but he does let him by. So that's good. No issues for him. That could have been a disaster. Now 7.6 seconds. Lap 38 of 39. We have just one lap, and then the next lap is the finals. So 2 more laps of the penultimate round in the championship. Make sure to join us at the finale next week, as Flip Flop Fish has passed Burn It Down, who gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. I missed the overtake there. Flip Flop Fish now is into the possibility of a podium as he passes him, and surely now the pace from Flip Flop Fish will get him into the top 3, I think. Diego comes across the line to start lap 38 of his own. Make sure to join us next week. The final round. It's the Brazilian Grand Prix. And we'll be very excited to have you in the race. And it's Nicolas who's about to begin his final lap. He's going to possibly win the Monaco Grand Prix in case any last lap hiccups as Flip Flop Fish moves it down to 4.1 seconds. I think surely Diego has lost the podium here unless Flip Flop Fish gains any last lap penalties. And into the final lap. So Nicolas won his home race in Canada. He won it again in Australia. And now he's going to win the big one. It's the Monaco Grand Prix. And Nicolas on the charge. Final few corners to go here. And it's been an absolutely stunning race for him. Coming towards the tunnel section now. Out of the tunnel. Into the chicane. Looking good. The gap now is very, very close. Flip Flop Fish is going to make an outside dive around him, and he is going to make the move. But Nicolas is going to win the Monaco Grand Prix. It's his third race win in a row. Third race win on WSR, but it is a win here in Monaco. Nicolas wins it. Flip Flop Fish will take third at the end of the race. Diego battled as much as he could. Burn It Down now is having to contend with Jonathan Cox at the end of this race. Now, Burn It Down, I don't know how many penalties he has, but Jonathan Cox, is he going to make a last lap dive? He's going to try for it. Now, is he going to cut the chicane? Here he is. He's going to cut the chicane. That's a 5-second penalty for corner cutting, and Burn It Down right then and there might have secured the victory. We have to wait and see. Jonathan Cox might contend that at the end of this race. Flip Flop Fish will come across the line to finish on the podium, and the world champion will be happy with that after a disappointing race for most of it. Comes across the line. Jonathan Cox will finish. Will he finish ahead of him? No, he's not. Oh, that's going to be contested, I think. Oh, no, I think that might be contested. He cut a lot of that chicane. And it's going to be tough there. We'll have to wait and see. But Nicolas is going to win the Monaco Grand Prix. Seafreeze finishes in second. And Flip Flop Fish rounds off the podium. Thank you for joining us here in WSR for the Monaco Grand Prix. Make sure to join us for the final round of the championship in Brazil. Thank you so much for joining us. My name has been WSRX or Noah Clark. You've been watching Worldwide Sim Racing. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, and have yourselves a absolutely wonderful night.